In this video, we are testing out the Onirifalx rod versus the Ruinous Oath rod. There are many major differences in these rods, from how they work to their passives and stats. One of the most important things to consider is obtainability. Both rods need you to be level 1000. They both have their own requirements, but the Onirifalx is way harder by far. This rod needs you to get a charred boot, which you can get from Zeus Rod. I recommend using garbage bait in the Kraken pool for better odds. The second thing you need is a Wrath Scylla, which is almost impossible to catch unless you have the Herculean enchant on your Rod of the Zenith. You also need a shiny, sparkling Wrath Floppy for the last one, which is extremely difficult since you can't appraise your floppy or else it will lose the Wrath mutation. The Ruinous Oath rod also has its own requirements. You need the full Crimson Cavern, shiny, sparkling bestiary, which can be costly and difficult, but worth it in the end. Now, before we compare the two rods, let me enchant my Ruinous Oath rod so they are equal. We finally got Herculean, after so many attempts and so many exalted relics. We got it. Since cosmics are so valuable, I am just going to keep cryogenic. Let's talk about the pros and cons for both rods. As we probably know, Onirifalx has negative infinite resilience. This isn't as bad as you think, considering how big the bar is with Herculean and how fast the progress speed is. Onirifalx has an overpowered luck of 777% and an instant catch lure speed of also 777%. It has a 0.17 control, which is pretty good. Ruinous Oath, on the other hand, has less lure speed, less luck, and less control, although it has a resilience of 25%. In my opinion, just going by these stats. Onirifalx is better. You don't really need any lure speed higher than 100%, so they are similar there. But there's a big luck difference and a gigantic control. Different. If Ruinous Oath just had a better control, it could have been better. Now the passives and uses of the rods are the most complicated parts. Let's start with the Onirifalx. It has a base plus 70% progress speed and a 30% chance to summon a larger version of the Onirifalx that slams onto the water and fills around half of the progress bar immediately. There is also a 50% chance for the Levitus mutation, which is a 7 times value, a 7% chance for the Sacratus mutation, which is a 7.7 times value, and a 3% chance for the Puritus mutation, which is a 10.7 times value. The last Onirifalx is more of a trade. For every perfect catch, you get an extra 5% progress speed. You can repeat this until you get an additional 50% progress speed, but for every extra 5%, you also lose 0.01 control. Now for Ruinous Oath, it has a 5% chance for slashes that fills up 2% progress every 0.25 second. The chances for slashes increase by 8% every second. There is also a 25% chance for Luminescent, which is a 9x multiplier, and a 15% chance to fill up 80% of the progress bar instantly. Now, During a perfect catch, the control bar gradually decreases in size. However, the progress speed gradually increases by 5% every second. There is also a 100% chance for mastered mutation, which is a 16x multiplier. This may seem like an extremely overpowered money-making method at first, but remember this. Macros likely won't work with this because of its weird passive. It is also difficult to perfect catch rare fish because of the tiny control bar. Now with Onirifalx, macros also probably won't work. But due to its amazing control bar, luck, and overpowered progress speed, this makes it one of the best rods for admin abuse or just catching rare fish. We still don't have a perfect answer on which is better, but let's look at this scenario from a different perspective. For a player who trades often, the Ruinous Oath Rod can be super OP for catching high-value aquarium fish because of its mastered mutation. Onirifalx has some decent mutations also, but they aren't guaranteed and have a very small chance of getting. But at the same time, admin abuses are when most players get their rare items and Onirifalx abilities and stats. It wins by far. I think it is also important to consider enchants. Herculean works amazing for both rods, but many players don't have lots of exalted relics and could get unlucky. The Ruinous Oath Rod without Herculean has a very tiny control bar, and it makes it super difficult to catch anything. So what is better in overall, Ruinous Oath or the Onirifalx Rod? Well, if you already have the Onirifalx, use it. It has very good luck, instant catch, amazing passives, and one of the best stats in the whole game. If you are trying to decide which one to get the Ruinous Oath Rod. The pain and suffering you have to go through to obtain the Onirifalx Rod is so horrible. If you already have both rods, use the Ruinous Oath Rod for mutated fish and for aquarium fish. Use the Onirifalx for every other scenario. That is all for today's video. I appreciate you making it to the end, and I ask of you to like and subscribe. Thank you for your time. I'm glad I could be part of your day.